Hello and welcome to the Fundamentals of Lute Playing. My name is Laudon Schuett. I thought I would take this first episode to introduce myself and to talk a little bit about this course and what the purpose of it is and what we're going to cover. I, like many of you, started off on the classical guitar. I think I started when I was about 11. I played some electric guitar and some saxophone before that. And I was a classical guitarist through most of my undergraduate education. Did an undergraduate classical guitar degree with Frank Kuntz. And toward the end of my time with him, I transitioned to the lute. And it was a consequence of running into the beautiful music that Frank had introduced me to and seeing a couple of key concerts that kind of did it for me. And I was one of those guys who went and bought a very cheap lute, and I had to really work on it to make it playable. I practiced very, very hard, and I ended up doing my graduate education, which is the Masters of Music and the Doctorate of Musical Arts with Paul Odette at the Eastman School of Music, and it was a wonderful experience. I didn't always enjoy the cold, but I loved the music and I loved the environment. And that was about 10 years ago. So I finished the doctorate about 10 years ago. And after that, I spent quite a bit of time sort of touring and performing and doing what lute players do, some continuo, solo concerts, and a lot with my duo Bedlam, which is with the soprano Kayla Sanchez, which always was a blast going and performing with her. We've recorded, at this point, is 2 albums that have been released on Soundset. There's Bedlam, and then there's Bedlam Died for Love, and we have a Christmas album that's going to come out at some point. And we were very, very active right up until COVID, and I think, like everyone else, COVID sort of shut things down and stopped the wheels of concertizing for a while, and during COVID I took that time to record a solo album, and that was released on the Navona label, and to publish a book with Mel Bay. So it's a book on lute playing and lute techniques and composition, and that was geared primarily toward intermediate and advanced players. This course I'm hoping to actually start from the ground up. So if you've never played the lute before, if you've never held a lute, if you've just got your first lute, my hope is that this course will be helpful with that. And this was sort of born of a couple of things that occurred in my life. Now, COVID, I think, affected all of us. And then I had my firstborn right toward the end of COVID. So I've been kind of out of commission for a while, and now he's about 18 months old and running the house. So not a whole lot of time to do things. And I've always loved a healthy balance of concertizing, recording, and teaching. And when he was born, I had to drop a lot of my students, and I had to stop teaching for a little while. And I think that urge to teach has always been in me, and I've taught continuously for about 20 years now, all ages, all levels, beginners, people who have finished graduate degrees and just need some coaching on a new instrument or on some pieces that they're working on. So it's always been a part of my life and part of my mix. And so this course I thought up as a way to kind of get that teaching urge out and to be as useful as possible to all those lute players out there. I know many of us, I'm in Nashville, and there aren't a lot of lute players, and there isn't a lot of early music here, are pretty isolated. I feel like we are isolated, and it's nice to have some online options. If you're somebody who doesn't have a teacher or doesn't get to work with a teacher very often, this can be used as a supplement. If you can't afford a teacher, this can be used. My plan is we're going to start with sitting position. We're going to talk about right hand. We're going to talk about left hand. We'll do an episode on tuning, on lute maintenance. It'll be mostly chronological. There may be a few things that you want to jump to, like maybe you want some more detail on lute tuning, which will be an episode down the road before you get started with playing. But I think the idea is to create a kind of open-ended learning course. I'm not the most technologically savvy person, so at least at first I don't think there's going to be a lot of great editing and camera angles and things. I'm working on it. I upgraded my mic situation, and I'm getting another microphone in February to upgrade the sound even more. And maybe we'll upgrade the camera so we can give you guys some different camera angles and things like that. I think it's going to be an ongoing process. But the primary thing is that I'd like it to be as comprehensive as possible. One of the challenges when making videos for students, of course, is that when I meet with a student, I have the opportunity to respond to their questions instantly. A student will be in front of me and they'll go, well, how do I do, an arpeggio? What exactly are you doing? And I can show them. In the videos, I have to kind of predict. So I hope to make up for that by responding to comments, or maybe even your own videos of your lute playing. You could send a link or something like that, or post it on the wall and say, hey, or there's some ways I can improve my sitting position, or improve my right hand attack, or improve my speed or my tone, or things like that. So I hope that you'll find this useful. I hope that you'll feel confident enough to contribute and maybe make a comment or post your own material and we can look at it. If anyone has any questions, obviously put it in the comments section. If this is something you end up being interested in and you'd like to follow along, the best way to do that would actually be to subscribe. Subscribers are an important sort of lifeblood of the internet community now, and it helps us continue to do what we're doing. So by subscribing, not only do you get to keep up to date on the newest episodes, but it helps me keep the channel going. I will also, in the description for this video, I will put a link to the Melbay book for any of the more advanced players who'd like to have access to that. And I will put a link to my Patreon for anybody who'd like to support in that manner. So the next episode will be how to sit with the lute, sitting positions, and it's a doozy. So I hope to see you there, and happy luting. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.